Obviously, you know, from my standpoint and from the team standpoint, we've had a tough summer, period. In this league, you don't have an opportunity at times for do-overs. And when you get a chance to win, as we have had in the past, 2006, 11 and 12, you know, when you get a chance to win, you got to win. And when you get an opportunity this summer to do something that you could have done and you didn't do it, you didn't do it. What happened with Dwyane floored me. And I'm going to miss the fact of what I might have had planned for him and his future and how I saw the end and my thought process and how I could see his end here with the Heat. You are what you think and you are your thoughts, and it's my responsibility to sort of make that happen. I didn't make it happen. And Dwyane left. And so the buck really stops here. I'm not trying to fall on the sword for anybody. I have great regret that I didn't put myself in the middle of it and immerse myself totally in the middle of it. Get in a canoe and paddle to the Mediterranean if I had to. You know, be in New York when he arrived on the 6th and greet him at the airport. I didn't do that. I wasn't there in the middle of that negotiation, and that's my job. And so it's not going to be the same without him. But we will, you know, forge ahead. I've been here when Zoe left, been here when Shaq left, been here when LJ left, you know, Brian Grant, Eddie Jones, but Dwyane is unique. And as I think Mike and our marketing department, you know, have done such a great job, you know, there'll always be a key under the mat. I just hope it doesn't get too rusty, that's all, you know, from that standpoint, and I'm going to miss him.
Pat, when you talk about regret and how if you had been in New York, if you had taken the canoe to the Mediterranean, whatever the opportunity was, why didn't that happen? And did you almost get urged in some ways by Dwyane's side to stay away and kind of let things play out the way they did?
We've always operated on the premise of a single voice, you know, not mine, you know, but Mickey, myself, Nick, you know, Andy, you know, Eric Woolworth, you know, Mike McCullough. I mean, one single voice. I mean, there's two entities here. You know, when it comes to basketball operations, we've always talked about the one voice, which is a philosophy and a plan, and moving on down the line that we all that's what we are and that's what we believe in. And so there was one voice in this negotiation. There are some times that Andy, you know, handles an agent and a player, and Andy complete the deal. You know, there are times that I've done most of them, you know, and complete the deal. There are times when you have a long-standing relationship with a player, you know, like Dwyane or Udonis, you know, or even at the time I remember with Alonzo, that sometimes the owner gets involved in it. But we all speak with one voice. We all know what we want to do and what we want to accomplish. And so, I mean, the thing that happens during the course of negotiations, you know, over the course of 7 or 8 days, has to do a lot with your thought process as to what the conditions were prior to that. And the conditions prior to that over the last year or two have always sort of pointed in the direction that, you know, we as an organization didn't do enough, you know, for Dwyane. And I've always been one who was always reaching to get him another guy. especially after LJ left, and trying to find a way to get him another guy to help him not only win, but to help him win in a way that he would be very proud when he moved on out and retired. And so it wasn't just getting another guy for him, it was to maximize our ability to win. And the only way we can do that is to have cooperation, is to the same kind of collaborative cooperation they had in 2010, and how that whole thing came together. And I don't think it's a coincidence that if you go back to those 4 years, where every single player came in because they wanted to be here, and they were the ones that they were giving it back, that we went to the finals 4 times and we won 2 world championships, and then it changed. In the summer of 2014, the whole thing got turned over. And sometimes, the carnage that is left out there, you got to try to pick up the pieces, but at the same time fill in the holes to be competitive. Getting Lou Dang, getting McRoberts, and at that time, and trying to forge forward. But so what my thoughts were always to try to make the team better, and also at the same time to try to make sure that Dwyane, over the course of the 3, 4, 5 years that he had left in his career, that he was going to get his money, that he would get it, but not at the expense of paralyzing, our ability to win, and which I think would have hurt him. So, if there's anything that I could have done better, as I said, I would have done it. But right now, there's no do-overs in this thing, and I wish him the best. It's been a sad week for both Chris and I. We love him dearly, and Gabby and the family, and just there's nothing you can say about it. I've always said that one of the only things you can count on in life that's permanent, it's one of my favorite sayings, is change. And when change raises its beautiful or ugly face, you got to deal with it, and you got to adapt and move on. We've been here before, and so I do. I wish him nothing but the best, and nothing but great health, and and I do think we sort of gathered ourselves a little bit at the end, and during this process, while we were negotiating with his agents, we were talking to all of these other players, and the possibility that if something were to happen, that we could be able to move quickly. During that time, from July 1st to the 3rd, there were only 2 players. I think there were only 2 players that we felt that if we knew this was going to happen, that we sort of regretted that they went off the board. But that's the game that you play when it's free agency.
Pat, just going back to Dwyane for a second, how would you characterize your guys' relationship now, and have you guys been able to speak since he decided?
No, I haven't spoken to Dwyane yet. I've been crafting a very long email to him, and I'm going to send it when it's finished, but it's not finished. As far as I'm concerned, if I saw him right now, I really believe that it'd be a warm embrace. I don't have any of those feelings, any negative feelings for him at all. I know that he was caught in a quandary with his thinking and his thought processes at the time, and what he felt was going on, and I know I was locked into mine, at that time, and so that's what happened. But I think, and I was so impressed, when he talked to you guys the day after, and I really believe he was sincere, truly sincere in the things that he said. At that particular time, he was raw, and I feel the same way about him. We all do, and I think everybody in the organization will feel that way about him forever.